one of the best things I had was Donna Hare. Excuse me, hopefully. Donna Hare was a photographic specialist at NASA, and she had, I think, secret clearance because she took what they call mission slides and launch slides, so very close up footage and photographs of the rocketry and all the telemetry and electronics that's involved and whatever. And so she had to be, classified as secret. And she said that when she was in, not only did she say it was Johnson Space Center, NASA JSC, she said it was in building 8. So then you knew which building she was in. And she said, and this sounded quite lackadaisical, but across the road, across the corridor from her was another colleague who invited her across the corridor to his lab or room or whatever and said, Donna, look at this. And he showed her a high-res satellite photograph, and floating above the terrain was this, circular disc, either training up existing Army, Navy, NASA, Air Force, whatever staff, or using existing staff that already had a talent for computers. So, the security wasn't best. And so I got into the Building 8 machines, and I don't know if it was the first one I looked at, but it was the first one that had folders on the desktop, very blank desktop. Most workers have shortcuts and folders and stuff everywhere on the desktops. And it was called raw and processed, or unprocessed and processed, or whatever. And that was ching, number one, because that's what Donna Hare said. They're processed and they're unprocessed. They're airbrushing out, to use the old technology. I don't know if they did it digitally and then, re-enhanced the new image, or if they did it with an actual airbrush. I can't remember what year Donna said she saw this in. But what I saw was digital. Whether or not they, print off from the digital and then do the airbrushing physically and then scan that back into digital, I don't know. But these were large files. There was lots of them in this folder, this unprocessed folder, which is obviously where the good stuff is because they're not blotted out yet. But yeah, very large, like 200, 250 megabytes plus. And I was on 56K dial-up, which is about 5 minutes per megabyte, whereas now you get like 10 megabytes per second. So to download this to my machine would have taken ages. So I wanted to view it on the desktop. And also it turned out it was in a NASA proprietary format. It wasn't like a JPEG or a PNG or whatever. So you needed their software to view the image. So I just double clicked it on the desktop, and the proprietary software, the linked application opened up. But at that time, I think I was on 1024 by 768 resolution. And because of the slow link, and I think I was, full color for that time, which probably would have been 16-bit for 1024. It was very slow coming down. This was a Java application. It wasn't like a 50 times a second refresh. It would fetch a line, come back, slowly build up the picture. So I turned down to 640, 480, I think, or maybe 320 by 240, and either 4-bit color or 2-bit color. And it started to come down more quickly then. It looked like, it'd be like 5-10 minutes before I could see the whole thing. And what I saw was at first darkness, and then this gradually lightening, hemisphere curvature. And then what was obviously an atmosphere, and the atmosphere edge line around the planet. And then you saw like land mass, cloud, and then this thing started to appear. At first, just straight white lines glowing, then getting brighter because of the specular highlights, wherever the light source was. And it was about 2/3 down, and you could see it was a clearly tubular object, pretty much like tic-tac-toe or the classic cigar-shaped objects. But the only difference this had was it had domes. And okay, it was low resolution. It was a bit jaggedy to look at, but it looked to me like the sort of geodesic domes you see in military radar. We've got some at Menwith Hill here. Oh, excuse me, mouth flu. And it was my eureka moment. It was my bloody God. I mean, I already believed Donna Hare, very serious woman, years in the industry, great connections and qualifications. But to actually go there into the building, she said, one of the rooms, well, one of the PCs that she said, and find this craft that was inexplicable. It wasn't human or earth based, or there were no rivets, no seams. It was very smooth, admittedly low resolution, hard to make out bits and pieces, but yeah, it looked really alien. There was no propulsion holes or jets or rocket cones or anything like that. So yeah, Donna Hare was a real legion there. She was
Yeah. Now, could I ask about this? You mentioned a spreadsheet containing lists of personnel that were assigned to it. They were assigned to ships, I think it said, right?
yeah, there was one spreadsheet whose actual column title was non-terrestrial officers. That was the column title. And there was a list of names. I don't think there were ranks. I don't remember ranks. I'm pretty sure there weren't any. So the first thing I did was searched. In fact, that's interesting. What was the search engine then? I'm not sure what the search engine then was, but it wasn't Google. Non-terrestrial officers. And that was nowhere. And Google, you can use the search operators. You can write site:/.mil, which means it would only look at sites that end in .mil, or you can use .gov or .com or whichever extender you like in the domain, and then look for your search term. So it searched every military site that was indexable at the time, which was a lot of them. They've now gone to great pains to unindex their sites. And yeah, basically just the power of the search engine to find any mention of it on any military site. And there wasn't on, or any gov site, or any af.mil, the subdomains for the Air Force. So non-terrestrial officers wasn't a phrase at all then.
Yeah,
I could
yeah.
find.